Loving Sai Ram and greetings once again from Prashanti Nilayam. Today I would like to talk about Shirdi Baba. There is a good reason for this which I shall presently explain. Shirdi Baba shed his mortal coil on Tuesday the 15th of October 1918 on Vijayadashmi day, the 10th day of the Navratri festival. This year, the 15th of October happened once again to be a Tuesday, and not only that, it was also Vijayadashmi day. And on this day, a new statue was added to the rows of statues already installed in the Hillview Stadium. And the new statue that was installed was that of Shirdi Baba. Swami consecrated the statue in a brief but beautiful function, and I wish to say a few words about that event. But before that, perhaps I should also say something by way of recalling the life and the teachings of Swami in his earlier incarnation in Shirdi. The Shirdi Sai avatar is both extraordinary as well as enigmatic in many respects. Though this incarnation belongs to recent history, myth and mystery continue to surround the story of this avatar. However, thanks to the enlightenment provided by Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, we are now in a position to place the essential aspects of the Shirdi avatar in a proper perspective. According to popular folklore, Baba came to Shirdi sometime during the latter part of the 19th century when he was about 16 years of age, in body that is. He wore a kafni, the dress of a Muslim fakir. He had no home of his own and spent most of his time under a neem tree that has since become a pilgrim spot known as Gurusthan. No one knew who this young man was, where he came from and where he got his food. But this much everyone knew. This mysterious young man definitely had a divine aura about him and was always most compassionate. Indeed, throughout his life, Baba's devotees knew very little about his early history. In the Sai Satcharitra, for example, one finds the following remark, and I quote, "Nobody knew the parents, the details of the birth or the birthplace of Sai Baba. Many inquiries were made, many questions were put to Baba and others regarding these items, but no satisfactory answer or information has yet been obtained. Practically, we know nothing about these matters." End of quote. Indeed, but for the enlightenment provided by our beloved Swami, this mystery would never have been cleared. Divinity often shrouds itself in mystery, and the mystery is removed only when the time and the circumstances are appropriate. Bhagavan Baba has revealed that Shirdi Baba was born in early 19th century to a pious Brahmin couple in the village of Patri, not Parthi but Patri, in the erstwhile Nizam state. The divine child was born following a boon granted by Lord Shiva and Parvati to the mother in appreciation of her deep devotion to God. Shortly before Baba took birth, the father left home for the forest to lead the life of a recluse. The lady followed her husband but could not keep pace due to the advanced stage of her pregnancy. Finally, she had to halt in order to deliver the baby. Once the baby was born, she reluctantly placed it under a tree and went in search of her husband. Soon, there came near the tree a Muslim couple who picked up the child and brought it up. In 1842, the adopted father died, and the adopted mother handed over charge of the young boy to one Mr. Gopal Rao, a rural chieftain. Gopal Rao is said to have placed Baba for some time under the care of a guru known as Venkusa. Later, Gopal Rao passed away, and Baba was now on his own. He wandered for some time and drifted into Shirdi. That is how he came to Shirdi for the first time. One day, the this young and mysterious stranger whom people called Sai met a man named Chand Patil. There is a story about how these two people met. This Chand Patil was a Muslim and an officer of the erstwhile Nizam state and lived in the village of Dhoop in Aurangabad district of Nizam state. Once, while he was making a trip to Aurangabad, Chand Patil lost his mare that he loved very much. He searched for the mare for 2 long months but could not find it. When returning from the fruitless search, Patil found a stranger under a tree preparing to smoke a chilim or a native pipe. On seeing Patil go that way, this stranger accosted the tired merchant, invited him to share a smoke and rest for a while. A conversation began, and Chand Patil told the stranger, who was none other than Baba incidentally, about the loss of his favorite mare. Baba asked Patil to look in a ravine nearby. Chand Patil did so, and lo and behold, there was his lost mare, which he was missing for more than 2 months. Amazed, Patil returned to Baba. Meanwhile, Baba wanted fire to light the chilim and some water to wet the pipe, both of which Baba produced most casually with a miracle. Patil now believed that Baba was a saint and persuaded him to go with him to Dhoop. Some years later, Patil came back to Shirdi to celebrate a marriage in his family, and Baba returned along with Patil, forming a part of the marriage group. Thereafter, Baba never left Shirdi. In Shirdi, soon after it arrived, the marriage party established itself under a big banyan tree in the neighborhood of a Shiva temple. By the way, Shiva is known in this temple as Khandoba. As the party was camping, Bhagat Malsapati, the priest of the Khandoba temple, came to the fakir, and he immediately recognized him from the earlier times and greeted the fakir saying, "Ya Sai," which means, "Welcome Saint." The name Sai stuck, and soon people in Shirdi began to call him Sai Baba. Baba now adopted a dilapidated mosque or masjid as his home and became a permanent resident of Shirdi. People were not sure whether Baba was a Hindu or a Muslim, but both communities revered him as a holy person. It is this masjid that later became the famous Dwarkamai. In due course, Malsapati became a close companion of Baba. For many years, Baba slept in the masjid together with Malsapati and another devotee named Sathya Kote Patil. They slept with their heads pointing towards the east, west and the north, but their feet touching together. Pretty strange, isn't it? Well, if Tatya snored, as he did sometimes, Baba along with Malsapati would turn Tatya over, rub his back and press his legs. I suppose this was to prevent him from snoring. Devotees wanting to worship Baba would offer sandal paste, but no one dared to directly apply it on Baba. Malsapati alone had the privilege of applying paste on Baba's throat. Blessed are they who earn divine intimacy. When Baba first came to Shirdi, he would sometimes just disappear into the forest, and there, Baijabai, a woman of great devotion, would go out every day seeking Baba and offer him some bhakri or millet bread. Later, Baba stopped going to the forest, and that was when he began to seek alms. People thought that Baba's action was strange, but there was a reason why he went out begging for food. According to the scriptures, a brahmachari and a sannyasi have to live by begging. Both the brahmachari and the sannyasi are supposed to regard the whole universe as their home and all humans as belonging to the world family. Perhaps Baba resorted to seeking alms to make his devotees see humanity as one large family. Every day, Baba would go out with a tumbler in his hand and a joli or a bag strung around his shoulder to just a few houses. In the tumbler, he received cooked items and liquids, while in the joli, he collected bhakri or millet bread. He was content with what he received and did not have any sense of taste. No surprise in that, because he was above the senses. The food collected would be put into a wide-mouthed earthen jar in the masjid, from which even cows and crows were free to draw. The lady who swept the masjid also took some prasadam from that jar to her home. Baba might have lived like a mendicant and given the impression of being an eccentric as well as uneducated, but at the same time, he could very nicely explain the intricacies of the Quran to his faithful attendant Abdul, and equally well the subtleties of the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishad to Sanskrit scholars. Once, there was a theft in the village, and the accused later stated in court that Sai Baba had given him the stolen property. The magistrate then issued summons to Baba, asking him to appear in court and give evidence. When the summons was served, Baba simply threw it into the fire. His devotees were, however, very afraid of the consequences. They therefore approached the magistrate and explained that since Baba was a holy person, the issue of a summons was inappropriate. Instead, the court could send an officer to collect the necessary evidence. Accordingly, a commissioner was sent to the masjid, and the following conversation took place. Commissioner, what's your name? Baba. They call me Baba. Your father's name? The same. Sai Baba. Guru's name? Venkusa. Creed or religion? Kabir. Caste or race? God. Age? Hundreds of thousands of years. Will you solemnly affirm that what you are going to say is the truth? Truth. Do you know the accused? I know everyone. The man says he is your devotee and has lived with you. Is that so? I live with everyone. All are mine. Did you give him the jewels as alleged by him? Yes, I gave him. Who gives what to whom? If you gave him the jewels, how did they come into your possession? Everything is mine. Baba, here is a serious charge of theft. That man says that you gave him the jewels. And to this Baba replied, what's all this nonsense? What do I have to do with all this? The conversation ended right there. The commissioner was totally perplexed and simply left. Later, it was established that the accused was not in Shirdi at the time he claimed to have received the jewels from Baba. The tattered dress, the seemingly eccentric behavior, and the tantrums that he sometimes threw were all cloaks. Occasionally, Baba lowered the mask to reveal his divine powers. One such story, or rather incident, is the episode of the oil lamps. Baba was very fond of lighting lamps in the masjid. In the early days, the oil for the lamps was offered free by the shopkeepers as a token of love, and Baba would go personally, tumbler in hand, and receive the oil from the merchants. He would then pour this oil into earthen lamps, using pieces of old cloth as wick. On the festival day of Deepavali, there would be extra lamps to celebrate the occasion. After some time, the grocers became tired of giving oil free to Baba and demanded payment. They obviously did not realize who Baba really was. Baba refused to pay and silently returned to the masjid. There, in full view of all the grocers, Baba first shook off traces of oil in his tumbler. He then filled it with water, yes, water, and then poured this water into the lamps, ready with wicks. Thereafter, he lit the lamps, and wonder of wonders, the lamps all started burning. Not only that, they kept burning all night. The shopkeepers realized their mistake, fell at Baba's feet, and sought his pardon. They at last understood that Baba was divine. Baba used the most unusual methods to impart lessons. Let me narrate a couple of examples. Once, a lady named Lakshmi Bai, who was an ardent devotee of Baba, made a nice dish for offering to him. After making the eatable, she left the kitchen for a short period and went elsewhere to attend to some other work. Meanwhile, a dog gained entry into the kitchen and started helping itself to the tasty item. Lakshmibai heard strange sounds in the kitchen and rushed in. And what did she see? She saw a stray dog merrily enjoying what she had with much love and labor prepared for Baba. Angrily she seized a stick and dealt a few blows to the dog. The poor animal abandoned its eating and rushed out of the house howling. Cursing the dog, she made the dish afresh and took it to Shirdi Baba to offer it to him. Baba refused to accept. Lakshmibai was puzzled because Baba was known to like this dish very much. She asked Baba why he refused. And he replied that it was because she had chased him away when he came to her house. Lakshmibai is astonished because Baba never came to her house. And who would dream of chasing him away? So she protested, whereupon Baba said, I don't have to come in this particular form. I can come in any form. I came as a dog. And what did you do? Did you not rain blows on me? Swami says that in this way, Shirdi Baba taught that he is omnipresent and that all forms are his. The next story deals with a man who went to Shirdi with the idea of seeking Brahmagyana or knowledge of the Brahman or the Supreme One from Baba. Normally, it takes many lifetimes to obtain this knowledge, but this merchant thought he could obtain such a knowledge in a trice, and so he hired a tonga, that is to say a horse-drawn cart, on a return trip basis and went to Shirdi. He prostrated before Baba and said, Baba, I hear you show Brahman instantly to all who come here. I have come to get Brahman from you. Baba replied, Don't worry, I will show you Brahman immediately, but all my dealings are in cash. Baba then began to make all kinds of small talk to this visitor. In between, he summoned a boy and asked him to go and get a loan of 5 rupees from one Nandu Marwadi. The boy returned a few minutes later to report that Nandu Marwadi was not available. Baba then sent the boy to someone else to secure the loan. But once again the boy came back drawing blank. While the boy was being sent on errands like this, Baba kept the visitor busy with mundane conversation. The seeker of Brahmagyana was beginning to get impatient and told Baba that it was getting late for him and that Baba had better hurry up. Baba then calmly replied, My dear friend, did you not understand what I was trying to do? I really did not need those 5 rupees. I pretended that I wanted a loan just to see if you would part with a small portion of the huge currency bundle you are carrying inside your pocket. You did not. You are so attached to money. How can one who is so attached to money ever see the Brahman? To attain Brahman, one must first renounce. Baba had a strange habit of asking for dakshina or payment. Normally, dakshina is paid to a priest, a guru, and so on, in return for services rendered. But Baba, who was God incarnate, asking for dakshina? This always puzzled devotees. They did not understand why Baba was doing this, but they all realized that Baba always did everything with a reason. Let me here recall a story I heard from one of our students recently. This student is the great-grandson of a devotee of Shirdi Baba. For 4 generations, this family has been devoted to Baba, first in the Shirdi form and now in the Sathya Sai form. The story goes like this. Once in the early part of the 20th century, this great-grandfather of our student went to Shirdi to have Baba's darshan. He spent some time there and one day decided to return to his home in Bombay. At that time, he had 8 rupees and he decided that he would set apart 4 rupees for buying gifts for his family and 4 rupees for travel expenses. Thinking thus, he actually put 4 rupees in the left pocket of his kurta and the remaining 4 in the right pocket. After this, he went to the masjid or Dwaraka Mai, call it what you will, to seek Baba's permission to leave. When he saw Baba, the latter casually asked, How can you go without giving me dakshina? The man began to wonder where he would produce the money for dakshina from. Meanwhile, Baba said, "What on earth are you blinking for? Haven't you got 4 rupees in your left pocket? How about giving that as dakshina?" The devotee now had no choice and parted with that 4 rupees. And while he did so, he said to himself, "There go the gifts, but at least I have money to return home." And even as he was thinking along these lines, he heard Baba saying, "You're a clever fellow, aren't you? You've got some more money hidden in your right pocket. How about giving me those 4 rupees also?" So out came the last 4 rupees. And after this, Baba blessed the man and told him that he could return home. The devotee was literally devastated by this experience. There he was, more than 200 kilometers from home, and with no money, not a single pie. And being a man of principle, he would not borrow. So he just decided to walk, hoping something would turn up. Eventually, he reached the neighboring village of Kopargaon. He was very tired and sat down under a tree to rest. Soon he dozed off, but woke up startled because he heard someone calling his name. He was rubbing his eyes and wondering because he knew no one in that place. He found a person standing before him and talking to him. This person said, "Sir, don't you remember me? 10 years or so ago, I borrowed some money from you, but then I could not return it in time. Meanwhile, I have prospered thanks to your timely help, and now I wish to return that money. But first, please come to my house, rest for a while, and accept my hospitality." Unable to believe what was happening, this man went to the house of his host, had a meal, and took some rest. After that, the host gave him 50 rupees, which was a princely sum in those days. It was then he understood why Baba had taken away all his cash. Baba never left Shirdi, but people came to him from far and near. Hindus, Muslims, Parsis, Christians, etc. Some members of the ruling British community also were drawn to him because Baba's teachings had a universal appeal. Like all avatars, Shirdi Baba too bowed to time. As I said earlier, he shed his mortal coil on the 15th of October 1918 on the auspicious day of Vijayadashmi. Shortly before he gave up his body, Baba summoned Lakshmi Bai. Calling her to his side, Baba affectionately gave her 9 rupees. Lakshmi Bai was quite well-to-do. Why then did Baba give her money, and what was the significance? Lakshmi Bai did not understand but faithfully treasured the 9 coins till the end of her life and never gave them away. Our beloved Swami has explained that Shirdi Baba gave Lakshmi Bai 9 rupees to remind her that there are 9 paths to reach God, the Navarasa Bhakti Marga of the scriptures. As Swami often recalls for our benefit, these are Sravanam, listening to his glory, Kirtanam, singing his glory, Vishnu Smaranam, chanting his name, Padasevanam, service to the lotus feet, Archanam, ritual worship, Vandanam, offering salutations, Dasyam, being the servant of the Lord, Sakhyam, being the friend of the Lord, and Atmanivedanam, or surrendering to the Lord. Shirdi Baba told a few close associates gathered around him that he would soon reappear again as a boy after 8 years. This statement was misinterpreted, and many of his followers started looking for a small 8-year-old boy. What really happened was that exactly 8 years later, he reincarnated in Puttaparthi. But it would be many years before the world learnt that this boy born in Puttaparthi with divine attributes and powers was none other than Shirdi Sai come again. From Shirdi, let me now move to Puttaparthi and describe for you the events that took place on the morning of 15th October 2002. About a month prior to this, one morning, Swami, after giving darshan, summoned his car and went out. There was much speculation about where he had been. It later became known that he had been to the Hillview Stadium to select a spot for the installation of the statue of Shirdi Baba. Weeks passed, and the statue slipped out of my mind. I was quite busy. And then on the morning of 14th October, Swami again went to the stadium. This time it was to inspect the statue which was to be consecrated on the following day. The statue, by the way, is located next to the Krishna statue on the southern edge of the ridge. There's not much open space there. Not much publicity was given to the consecration ceremony. Only a small number were invited. All the invitees were asked to assemble by 6:30 a.m. since Baba was expected around 7. A small shamiana had been erected and a few chairs had been put. Additional chairs were placed in a small open spot in the neighborhood. The scene from the venue of the function was grand. The sky was cloudy, but even so, the panoramic view that greeted the eye was breathtaking. Baba came and was greeted with Vedic chants. Soon after he took his seat, he was handed a small remote control. When he pressed the button, the statue that was some distance away was unveiled. There was celebration music from the Nadaswaram crew in attendance, and after this, a song specially composed for the occasion was played on the public address system. After the song was over, the song sung during the traditional Shirdi Arati was played. Swami then rose in his seat, whereupon Arati, Parthi style, was offered to Bhagwan. Swami then moved about for a while, talking to various people, besides specially blessing the sculptor Mr. Madhubhai Patel and his son. Everyone thought Swami would then get into his car, but no. Instead, he walked to the edge of the dais, and as he went past me, he gently whispered, "All those people below are waiting. I must give them darshan, must I not?" I was deeply moved. How considerate Swami always is. He stood there for some time, and his gaze wandered to a tonga kept nearby. This tonga was actually used by Shirdi Baba when he visited the state of Chincholi a long time ago. After looking at the tonga for a while, Swami told a person standing next to him, "There must be a lantern on the right side. I don't see it." Very casually, Swami was telling us that he had actually used the same vehicle before. Swami then walked back to the car, briefly blessing prasadam on his way. He then got in and drove away. It was a very brief function and a very simple one too. But that should not mask the fact that a very historic event had just taken place. 2 days later, I went to the stadium to take some pictures, and the hill presented a grand sight. I recall then the pictures we have in our files that show the hill completely bare. In fact, the word Hillview Stadium was painted on the hillside, where the Buddha and the Jesus statues are currently located. What more changes will occur to that hill? I don't know. Only he knows. Our beloved Swami has declared that the Shirdi avatar was the first of a trilogy of Sai avatars. The second, of course, is the present Sathya Sai avatar, and the last would be the Prema Sai avatar. Of the three, the Shirdi avatar is the prologue, and the Prema Sai avatar is the epilogue to the Sathya Sai Purna avatar. It has further been revealed that Shirdi Sai was an aspect of Shiva, Sathya Sai is an aspect of both Shiva and Shakti, while the yet to come Prema Sai would be an aspect of Shakti alone. I often wonder, if the Sathya Sai avatar is himself such a grand embodiment of Prema, how would Prema Sai be? I don't think I would live long enough to find that out, but I am sure some of you listeners would. And when you do, I am sure you would have an interesting time comparing the two avatars whom you have personally seen.